Hey guys, it's Matt. Welcome back to what we do quite often on a Saturday, midnight reality. Now you're looking at the gravesite in Germany of the philosopher that we looked at very closely yesterday, George Friedrich Wilhelm Jorge Hegel. And you see how the ivy grows nicely over the body? Well, as of this morning, I've been informed there's no more ivy, there's no more body. There's just a hole where some Michael Jackson Thriller undead corpse climbed, apparently, out of the grave and apparently is looking for me right now. Now, I don't know if I should complete this video or immediately go into hiding, although I do think the undead corpse, the body, will have a hard time getting across the Atlantic. Bill, please put Hegel in the list of villains that are waiting for Matt in the light. While we're here, though, I have to mention something. I think I mentioned it yesterday, but I was up half the night. The George, there's no E on the end. Is an incompletion that's bugging the heck out of me. The George Jorge, even Jorge has the E on the end. George Washington with the E. I mean, have you ever seen the Far Side cartoon, guys, where a shoe drops? The guy's in the hotel or something, and he's waiting for the second shoe to drop, and he has to go up there, and it's a one-legged man, so there's only one shoe to drop above him. This is what that is to me. So is there anybody in Germany, Stephen perhaps, that can, I don't know, add an E, spray paint an E, or, well, don't disparage the grave, you'll have that corpse looking for you. Sticker letters at the hardware store in E, something that sticks on, anything. That will keep me up at night. That bothers the heck out of me. Now, you may have noticed I haven't mentioned the name of the cemetery where Hegel's buried in Germany, and this is the reason why. It's unpronounceable to anybody that doesn't live in Germany or, say, isn't from Amsterdam or that lifeless city, Rotterdam, born and raised in the Netherlands. They don't speak, well, they speak German, but they have their own language, Dutch. To the Dutch, this is nothing. This is a short word in Dutch. They understand it. The safe word from Eurotrip, that's real, folks. That wasn't a joke. Ugen, fliegen, flanken, steigen, flanken. That's real. German is bad enough, and the Dutch language is even worse, if you can imagine that. From Miguel Berger's Twitter X account, quote, "A most beautiful place, this cemetery, the Doro blank Friedhof Berghof. The cemetery is a must when in Berlin." You put that on your list. Anybody, Berlin, you go to Berlin. That's from your trip. Berlin, yeah, I go to Berlin. You go to Berlin, man, you put this on the list. Now, if this is one of the greatest things performers to do in Berlin, you go to the unpronounceable cemetery, Friedhof Berghof, with the graves of J.G. Fichte and Jorge Hegel. That's one of the best things to do in Berlin. They should have ended the Berlin airlift early. That sucks, man. They don't even got no Six Flags there. This blows. Matt, what are you doing? This isn't the theme or tone of midnight reality. It's more serious. Yeah, I know. I know the themes and tones of my own programs and shows. We wanted to start off. We might have to always start off light, considering what they're doing to the world. This will get more serious. After the next ridiculous segment, which I have to show you, we will move into the tone, feel, and mood of midnight reality. Here it is. The ultimate e-beggar, Wikipedia, is back at it. The better off dead paperboy solicitor for $2. Imagine if I did this to you every single video. This is the truth you were promised. The internet, we were promised. November 16th, an important update for readers in the United States. You deserve an explanation. You deserve a break today at McDonald's. So please don't skip this 1-minute read. It's Saturday, November 16th, and this message will be up only briefly. I doubt that, you e-beggars. Please reflect on how often you visited Wikipedia this year. And if you're able to... What? It's not $2. $2.75. Why not just go $3? What's with the 75 cents? Well, if they asked for $3, I'd never do it, but they asked for 75, so I'm going to do it. To the Wikipedia Foundation. You know what that comes from? Probably the Ford Foundation, the Melvin P. and Belinda Foundation. It's all tied together. If everybody reading this gave $2.75, they would take in hundreds of millions of dollars within a few minutes, and they never need money. This is the not milk. It will never go unfunded. Every penny they collect goes right to an Eyes Wide Shut party. the internet we were promised, a place of free, if you read this, you can be free, collective and accessible knowledge, accessible lies crafted by the not milk to remove you from your true spiritual self. You should be ashamed of yourself, Wikipedia. Look at this disgusting e-begging. Sorry. The heart of today's Midnight Reality discussion addresses a topic that we've all considered many times, but mostly in a very trivial way, with terms like David Bowie Island. How real is the map of the Earth we're given? And more importantly for this presentation, what land masses exist where, say, certain people can go that's not on no map? That will never be listed on no map, where they don't want the great unwashed showing up and the tourists coming up the beach. Mommy, I need more lotion. Put me more lotion. I'm burning. They don't want that. So is there something even the size of Australia that exists in this place called Earth that never made it on no Mercator map? So if you want to do thesis, antithesis, synthesis, my thesis is absolutely David Bowie Island exists. Perhaps hundreds of them, perhaps something half the size of Australia that never will make it onto a map. And see, even today, there's called shipping lanes for airplanes. They can't just fly all over the place. Oh, I want to fly to Australia. Just take your own route. They fly within narrow, very narrow bands, less than a mile wide. The same with cargo liners, or even cruise ships, or oil tankers, shipping lanes. They're not allowed to just go wherever they want. Here's the list of the original explorers, starting with the great Viking, Leif Erikson, through Marco Polo. Where the hell did that dumbass pool game come? Here's the list of explorers. You telling me all the little places that these people found? All that was found is recorded and has to be recorded on a map because they're so honest with the people. They would never hide a place where they can go, Matt. Who do you think they would never keep anything from the people? They love the people. They respect the people. Every little island, every little landmass found by, there's that son of a beach, Christopher Columbus. That rat bastard. I don't know anything about him. I just know all the statues are being pulled down like Saddam Hussein's was pulled down with a chain all over the place. You better not have no Christopher Columbus statue out the back. Every little island, every little place that they found is just given to the people so the people know about it. No, I don't think so. I think they found a lot. These sons of bitches found lots of places where let's just say those that decide on elections can go to get away. You want to get, maybe where that came from. You want to get away? Maybe that's where it came from. And when it also, yes, the celebrity, let's just say questionable death does come into play here. Yeah, Whitney Houston in a bathtub, then her daughter in a bathtub, and David Bowie just looked. He was playing golf, I think, the day before. He looked so great, so handsome. Him and Iman or whatever. He looked so good, but then he was dead from cancer. But he didn't show no signs of wilting. At least Steve Jobs, that presentation, real or not, it seems real. He wilted away to 85 pounds. That didn't. David Bowie I think he was doing photo shoots the day before. It didn't make any sense. In a way, the Michael Jackson thing doesn't make no sense. There's people that rule this world, folks, that decided on elections over the past 1,000 years. They need entertainment. They need Chris Cornell to do some Soundgarden covers. They need Michael Jackson. They don't just want to play cards all day and drink rum. They need entertainers. One of them said, let's get Chester out here from Lincoln Park. Well, I don't know, fake it. We need to get him out here. So you know what? Look, how many celebrity deaths are real? I don't know, but I know all of them are not legitimate. No way. Here I tried to pull a fast one on the AI, and I got a really funny result. Said, Google, give me the world map showing David Bowie Island. Show me the locations that can't be seen by the peasants. And this is what was returned. A picture of David Bowie in some tropical setting with his shirt off. I think if that's not a truth drop, I don't know what is. It's not that. Hey, look, they saying the island's off Canada? No, that can't be. That can't be. No, it would be a much warmer climate than that. But guys, this is not rigged up to be funny or anything. This is what was returned to me. $2 from Better Off Dead. 275. In this section coming up, we'll consider, where are these islands? Where might this landmass be where they can go that never made it onto the maps that you studied in high school? And if anybody's stumbling upon this video, there's, say, 7, 8, or 9,000 people that are regularly at this channel for most videos during the week. And if anybody's stumbling upon this, almost 100% of, say, those 7,000 or 10,000 believe that the map that we're shown is not completely legitimate, meaning there's at least one island somewhere, much bigger than Gilligan's Island, a landmass, a series of islands, an archipelago. I have no idea what that is. I just thought it would sound cool. An archipelago. There's something that exists that's not on the map. If anybody's stumbling upon this, 100%. I don't mean to speak for all you, but I know we're going to be one. I know how you think. Not one person here believes that this map is completely legitimate. Now think about that as you leave me behind for your cat videos. Now, because the first grade truthers are crying out in the night, let's address their concerns first. At the top of the list, of course, would have to be Antarctica. I mean, there's 100 things about the whole Antarctica story that were given, guilty with the stories, that just doesn't make any sense. There are treaties amongst and between governments, and you would need their permission if you ever wanted to go on to Antarctica to see the penguins. Try sailing your boat south from Tasmania and see what happens. A gigantic military frigate will come upon you.
Halt! Stop your engines! Prepare to be boarded. Do not approach Antarctica any further, or you will be fired upon.
Well, wait a second. Well, we just wanted to see some seals and penguins. It's this 4,000-mile-long piece of rock. We just want to pull up an anchor and have a little picnic.
Stop and turn around, or you'll be fired upon.
Why? So in terms of what may be David Bowie Island, of course, Antarctica is at the top of the list. Of course, endless stories like Shackleton of how cold it is and how inhospitable it is. And if you wanted to keep people away, see, that story makes sense, doesn't it? So no one really wants, it's just scientists down there like the movie 8 Below trying to survive the cold with their team of huskies. You would create this story that it's so inhospitable, it's unsurvivable. And maybe some of the stories, it's not like every scientist is in on it. Maybe some of the exploration teams or the centers where the scientists go to explore may be the coldest parts of Antarctica. Maybe that's where the scientists are going or are allowed to go. But most maps present Antarctica like this, like the entire breadth of the world, 4,000 or 5,000 miles across. I'm not making this up. This is how most maps present Antarctica. It makes Africa look small. So maybe there are other huge sections where it's very green, very lush, very temperate, whatever that means, where the scientists don't go. The scientists freeze their ass off in that part of Antarctica. Then they come back and they tell two people, like the shampoo commercial. Then they tell two people how tough it was to survive, and they propagate it that way. It's a big place. All you got to do is paint it white on every map, and every poor bastard believes it's all snow and ice covered. Probably the entire left side, maybe 1,000 miles long, is a gigantic golf course. Who knows? Club Med on steroids. All of that, of course, is possible. That's the craziest thing in the world. Anybody that stumbled upon this video, anybody that's been here a few months or did their own truth investigations, like, yeah, that's Matt, that's not even out there. That's likely. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. The whole story of Antarctica is such a joke. No one can approach it. Is anybody telling me they know somebody that went to Antarctica as a tourist? Really? You want to tell me that? I know somebody that went to Antarctica as a tourist. There's 1/1% some little rock somewhere with a penguin waddling around, that they take the tourist to one little tiny part. Oh, that legitimizes everything. They don't see 99.999% of Antarctica, the tourists. And the person that was a tourist, that I know, let's just say a friend of a friend of a friend, it's all about their own ego. They wanted to be on every continent, and they want to tell people at cocktail parties. They could care less about the penguins. I think one waddled by the person. They said, I don't give a shit about that. I just want to be able to tell people at cocktail parties I've been on all 7 continents. It's about me, not about that little damn bird that can't fly. They don't give a shit about the wildlife. It's about ego. Well, maybe a couple of people go for the wildlife, but you're not seeing all of Antarctica. The story of Antarctica is supported in 1,000 different ways and 1,000 different presentations, going a century back, from Shackleton's amazing story of survival to Disney movies like Eight Below. Paul Walker, he had to leave the dogs in an emergency, but then they show him like hanging out, and he's like in a bar in Christchurch, New Zealand or something, going around to ship captains. Are you heading down south? Can I hitch a ride? Can you take me to Antarctica? Scenes like that tell the people there's no restrictions like you truthers believe on going to Antarctica. Paul Walker could have hitched a ride with a ship captain to get his dogs Maya and Etta and rescue all 8 of them or whatever. And what is that other actor that was in Eight Below showed up, the scientist showed up that was looking for the meteorite, and he was able to take them. Remember, he showed up at the last. I like this movie. Paul Walker, it's like that scene out of the Basketball Diaries. He was ready to perform a you-know-what, some sort of weird sex act in the bathroom to get the ride. Luckily, that guy looking for the meteorite showed up. He could take him down without any violations of self. So this example is a little different because Antarctica does appear on the map, but in terms of ranking places that they go or can go, where you will never be allowed to go, of course, Antarctica ranks at the top of the list. Do I believe it's one lifeless rock of ice and snow? No. Absolutely not. And of course, there are other theories. There's no reason to get into it that this is some sort of doorway to a whole section, gigantic section of the Earth that's as large as the section we know where they can go. But I don't want to, let's not go too far. I don't want to hear about no crater Earth. I don't want to hear about no reflections in the moon. I don't want to hear about that horse shit. Let's not embarrass ourselves too much if somebody stumbles upon this video. Well, Matt, we always do if somebody stumbles upon, they wouldn't understand one bit of what we talk about. But look at the Pacific Ocean there west of Los Angeles out to Hawaii. And then it's another 1,000 miles out to Tahiti, and there's the northern Mariana that I call the northern Marinara Islands, and Saipan and Guam, and the Pacific Ocean out there as you move from Los Angeles to Japan is so massive. I mean, it may be 200 times, 300 times the size of Texas. I mean, there's so much room out there for there to be an island the size of New Jersey, that no one would ever know about. I believe what's called Not-Nilk has been around here forever, the spiritual adversary. So in a way, the one world system has been around basically forever. That doesn't mean there wasn't a real king in France that was waging a war against Longshanks and his sons and daughters in England for hundreds of years in 1400, 1500, 1600. And those kings at that level potentially believed in the war they were fighting. The wars now are cooked up, right? Why wouldn't the wars back then with kings and emperors that were easy to manipulate be cooked up? Just because we say Not-Nilk or one world system control or control from the shadows, that doesn't mean that Longshanks, the presentation of the King of England, is at that level. He's probably a useful idiot, a puppet, an idiot compared to the minions that we say get close to Not-Nilk, the manipulators of this world, the Rasputins of this world. Did anybody jump to the conclusion that the King of France or Charlemagne or Longshanks is Not-Nilk itself? No. Politicians of any kind or kings have been the manipulated puppets, in my opinion, of Not-Nilk, believing they're really fighting a war where the whole thing has been cooked up by Not-Nilk. I don't think there's ever been an exception to this rule, but that's just my opinion. If you know the face, or it's a famous name in history, or you know the assistant ski instructor, or it's somebody running for president, they are very low level, in my opinion. They are minions. They are not pure Not-Nilk. Even a king or an emperor or a queen or Mao or whatever, if you know their name and they're famous in history, they are low-level pawns. That is my opinion. Well, Matt, what about Rothschilds? What did I just say? Yeah, the truthers just can't accept that. It's a famous name that gets a lot of press and attention, then it's not that close to true Not-Nilk. It's a pawn or a puppet. If you can point at it in the police lineup of bad guys, it's not, it's a minion. It's lower level. Yes, even Rothschilds and Rockefellers and all this stuff that the truth community has been brainwashed and bred to point at. So, what I call Not Nilk, through its presentations of emperors and kings and queens and countries, sent all these explorers out. And the prime time for it, in terms of the famous explorers, was 1400, 1500, and 1600. Magellan and Balboa and Da Gama and all that. Of course, it's been going on a lot longer than that and continued to happen. But, all the explorers set out because the shipping technology was better and they could survive on the high seas for months or half a year at a time. And if you're Shackleton, you could spend years on the ice. No lemons, no nothing. So they found places, in my opinion. I think this is just, it's obvious. There's no proof of it. It's just common sense in terms of studying the adversary here, studying Not Nilk and how it does business. They found several places, potentially the size of New Jersey, that was kept. It was kept quiet. This is Matt. You're actually admitting they kept something quiet, and it is people in on it. Yeah, in this case, yes. It's not all or nothing. I think the first grade truther believes that too many things are perfectly covered up by secret societies. But you know my opinion on that. Let's not return to that every time. It's not one or the other. It's not all or none. Just because I say the first grade truthers believes that too many things were perfectly covered up by men and women in secret societies, that doesn't mean they covered nothing up. It's not all or none. Don't put words in my mouth. In this case, yes, there are land masses that I call affectionately David Bowie Island, where to this day they can go, and I believe a lot of the celebrity deaths go out there. Now, that's a whole separate video. I mean, and part of I know this isn't my first conspiracy video. Some people are crying out in the night, ritualistically sacrifice. Yeah, that's beyond my grade, a pay grade. I don't know when somebody would qualify as a reward to be taken to David Bowie Island, just perform a show once a week, or to be ritualistically sacrificed in an elevator, right? Prince, I don't know, I guess they'd be capable of both. I mean, these are creepy dudes. I don't know. To me, if I had to guess, I know. Well, guess, Matt. I think most are not ritualistically blankety blank. I think most of the ones that don't make sense, the Chris Cornell just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I never looked at it closely. He had been clean. I saw him in concert a few years before. Just completely clean, no drugs. I don't even think he was drinking. Was in good shape, muscles. Then he just takes his own. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And again, David Bowie Island is a little naive in terms of the way we present it. It's somebody comes to these people and maybe they had no idea what was coming. Said, we have, think of the nicest places you've been, Chris, or whoever, Whitney Houston, or whatever. David Bowie didn't appear sick at all before, and he had those weird-ass videos. Go watch Black Star and his other music video that he put out. The creepiest shit you'll ever see. And with the release of the album, of course, a day or two before his death. Oh, sure, yeah. Maybe at that level he knew, but at a Chris Cornell or Chester, who, Matt, that's Podesta's son. I never heard that before. This is my first conspiracy video. I'm going to shut the whole channel. Yeah, forget all that horse shit. Maybe it is. Who cares? Podesta. Remember that weird ass shit? And it was related to the Pizza Hut enemy at the gates with all that Obama ordering the hot dogs. And oh my God. We got to revisit that horse shit sometime on Free Voice. We've never been played, this community, as much as we were played for the Pizza Hut enemy at the gates. Oh my God, what a joke that was. We fell for, I didn't fall for it very long. I was one of the first. And there was another channel called Barry Soetoro. We came out very quickly and said, we're being lured into a bunch of bullshit here, guys. We were the only two. But anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. So maybe a Chris Cornell or a Chester from Lincoln Park is approached and said, you kind of had the feeling you were getting into bed with certain things here and your rise to prominence, and then now everything's fine, but there's a place you're going to go, and it's very nice. Think of the nicest places you've been on Earth. You've been to Monaco, and you've been to certain parts of New Zealand, and it's beautiful. And you're going to go there. It's not on any map, and you're going to remain the rest of your life there. We could change you. We could, you could go under surgery or whatever. We could put you into some protection program with a new name where you'll wash cars in Cerritos, California. If you want to go back in that way, we have to change your facial structure. You got a new name. You won't be able to sing. We'll remove some of your vocal cords. So if you try to go that route, Chester, it's not going to work out. That whole screaming voice stuff will be gone. And if you really went back, we could do it. But this is a beautiful place. And most people that go out there see it as a reward, and you'll live the rest of your life there, and you will perform for those that people you've never heard of, that are above the billionaires. These people that you'll perform for, see, Bill Gates answers to them. And do they have more money than Bill Gates? No, they don't need any money. They don't have even a penny because they don't need it. The Queen answers, well, that was, at 90 something, you would think that was not David Bowie Island. That even the creeps are still in the same bodies that we are. They have access to certain cures and interferon type treatments that we don't have access to. But the Queen at 90 something, but they just, it doesn't matter. They just recycle back into a body and fulfill another role. Right now, the Queen is probably about 1 or 2, being raised inside of a bloodline family, right, not quite ready to ride horseback yet, but soon will be riding horses, and and then they'll fulfill another Hillary Clinton type role. That's what they do. It's okay. That's what they do. Let them. That's their role here. That's a sick little role here. We're not into that horse shit, but we'll move on, and they'll be here a few more million years. It's okay. That's what they signed up for. Tony said they're game addicted, but anyway, the explorers, they found these places, and then not Magellan, what is it, Mercator, and Mr. Peters or whatever did his projection map. He says, "Oh, these places here. Note to self: don't ever put them on a map. Don't ever draw them in. You can draw them. You can draw the coordinates in this book, but this is only for us, and we're going to keep it like this for the next 1,000 years." And then even when, Google Map or wherever they take their pictures, same thing. Certain areas the pictures are taken, and then it's wiped with just ocean. There's nothing there. Remove it from the Google Maps. Remove it from the Peters projection and the Mercator. And the great unwashed and the proletariat and these conspiracy assholes will never be able to find our places of paradise. So this is what I believe. The family should have a lot of fun with this video if they're listening and not telling me, you're going to tattletale or something. Why don't you send me an email and say, Matt, that's really strange. Can you explain that to me sometime? And I'd love to explain it. I'm not just some crazy person in a bathtub slathering feces all over myself. There's reasons we believe what we believe. Many of the celebrity passings, go off to this place, in my opinion. The spiritual adversary called Not Nilk can't be pointed at, exactly how the energy is harvested. But there are minions of Not Nilk, in my opinion, in this place that are very high level, that are in the body that you will never see on television, or that will never appear in a magazine or in Wikipedia. 5 levels up from the handler, Dick Cheney, or whatever it be. They're still in a body. And maybe they're in this place. I mean, there's a weird dynamic. If they're in the body, it doesn't matter how high level Not Nilk, they're in love with celebrity. Anybody this weird triangle, I'm not sure how to explain this, but I think you'll understand if I present it with this example to start. A weird triangle of celebrities loving to be with other celebrities of a different type. So how do I get this exactly right? The movie actresses, they might worship the sports stars, and they'll date the sports stars. And the sports stars might worship, in a way, the singers and date the singers. Or Travis Kelce with Taylor Swift. They cross over in the triangle is sports athlete, superstar, famous, rich, singers and performers and rock stars, famous and rich, and actors and actresses or comedians, super rich and famous. And they don't typically, they're in love with the other parts of the triangle, but that's just, I guess, normal for being, it's a low expression of being in the body. Jerry Seinfeld didn't want to go date another comedian. He wants to date. I mean, I don't know who Jerry Seinfeld's dating. It's just an example. But you see this trend over and over. They'll go date a rock and roller, and the rock and roller will go date a basketball star, and Lamar Odom and Kardashian, and I mean, all okay. So if there's the not Milk or this real high level minion that's above the Queen and above the Rothschilds, I think it would be the same thing for them in the body. They want to walk, through their restaurant past LeBron James, and they want to hobnob with celebrity, and so I think that could be a reason why a lot of these celebrities don't really pass in the bathtub, and they go off to the to the Gilligan's Island. Matt, this is breaking down. Look, at the end of the day, you know what I'm going to say is any of this important to your spiritual journey here? To what you need to do for yourself? Of course, it's not. Many of the old guard here would believe generally in what I'm saying, that there's many places they can go that's not going to appear on a map. There's not going to be no United direct flight for you to leave to go there out of LAX. But again, I don't know why. Matt, we know you don't have to give this the moral message every time. We know this is just another fun topic to talk about, and it has nothing to do with worry about yourself activities. And don't apologize for it all the time. I know. Got to stop that because we're gonna have to, we'll talk about a lot of different things. It doesn't mean those things, just because they don't directly relate to part two of the work, that doesn't mean they're not very interesting to ponder and talk about. The creep and minion level here is very interesting to examine. I mean, their bizarre ways are something that's very interesting and fun to talk about, and we'll continue to do so. Thanks for listening.